Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. It is so good to see all of you. And are we ready to enjoy the day? Yes, we are. Stand if you're able, please. Well, I choose to feel good about my life today. Look beyond appearances that painted my way. Connect deep down with the spirit inside. Rejuvenate with energy and let God guide. Shine my light to inspire, be a real live wire. Now that's all right with me. I got love in my heart. I got a whole lot of soul. I got joy in my life. From my head down to my toes. I got my light shining bright, and that's all right with me. Well, I'm gonna do random acts of kindness out there. Surprise them with a thank you to show my care. With a big old smile that's upon my face. A bounce in my step with a positive pace. Standing high with some poise, make a big joyful noise. Now that's all right with me. I got love in my heart. I got a whole lot of soul. I got joy in my life. From my head down to my toes. I got my light shining bright, and that's all right with me. I got love in my heart. I got love in my heart. I got a whole lot of soul. I got joy in my life. From my head down to my toes. I got my light shining bright, and that's all right with me. I got my light shining bright, and that's all right with me.
Yes, yes. Please be seated. Please be seated. Wasn't that a fantastic way to start this service? I just need to catch my breath for a second. So welcome to Unity of Hagerstown, whether you're here joining us in person or remotely, live streaming on Facebook or later on in the week on YouTube. We welcome you. We are so excited that you're here with us today. We're going to begin our service today with an opening prayer. Let's take a moment just to center ourselves, closing the eyes if you like. It's not really mandatory, but it helps us to not be distracted on the outer. Settling into our chairs, focusing on our heart breath, and just knowing that we do have love in our life. We do have joy in our hearts. So at this time and in this place, let us release all that is holding us down as we become fully present here and now. Open to the activity of God. Open to that flow of love. Open to the wisdom that guides us from within. We give thanks for this opportunity to come together, to share, to smile, to laugh, to pray, to sing, to meditate together. We know that the energy that is created here through this connection, through these activities, spreads across this land. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so if you will join me in our mission statement together. Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through affirmative prayer and meditation, creating a positive path of abundant living for all. And now we have the reading of the Daily Word with Arnie. And as Arnie makes his way up here, let me just tell you, the Daily Word is an inspirational reading that you can get in your email inbox. Go figure. You just need to sign up for it at unity.org.
Good morning, everyone. Faith. In the story of Unity, James Dillett Freeman tells a story from the Unity movement's early days. During a period of financial insufficiency, staff gathered to pray, and associates said, "Let us pray that the money holds out." Co-founder Myrtle Fillmore countered, "Oh no, let us pray that our faith holds out." Today, I remember the importance of faith in all my endeavors. Like everyone, I will need all kinds of things during my lifetime: more money, more time, greater harmony, to name a few. Rather than pray for specific things or results, praying for the understanding and clarity to draw upon my faith is the best place to begin. And I believe in the absolute goodness of God, and I believe in myself as a spiritual being endowed with the gift of faith to direct however I choose. Mark 9:23 says, all things can be done for the one who believes. So let's repeat the affirmation on the screen. No matter my need, I begin with faith. And breathe that in, hold that place of faith, the substance of things not seen. And let's say it one more time. No matter my need, I begin with faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnie. And now we have another song with Brent and Patty.
Let us live each day with brave faith. It's a busy place out there, complicated world we share, working with no guarantees. I believe that what we need is brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith. Sometimes we are slow to trust, wisdom hidden deep in us. Fear of failure keeps us down. What we all could use right now is brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith. Someday we can all look back at turning points along our path. That's when we will point with pride to every good choice, guided by brave faith. Let us love, let us live each day with brave faith.
Woo! Yes. Beautiful. So we are at the time in our service when we can greet our neighbors. And you know what's coming, I guess. So this is not an invitation to share our life story, but rather just a hello, good to see you, or even my name is, nice to meet you. And another gentle reminder that not everybody wants to be hugged. And I know this room is largely full of huggers. So please ask if it's okay before you go in with that bear hug, okay? So let's greet our neighbors. Yeah. And at this time, for Facebook friends and YouTube friends, I just want to tell you, I'm so happy that you're here. I want to, again, apologize for the the live stream not being available the past 2 Sundays. However, those services are now on YouTube, so you can catch them there. We love you. We bless you. Go ahead and write a comment down in the section there and just let us know how you're doing. Okay. As much as I love this time, if you can hear my voice, please be seated. I love your energy and your welcoming spirit, but please be seated. If you can hear my voice, please be seated. There we go. Okay. So if I'm talking like this, do you have any problem hearing me, or was it just because there was a buzz in the room? Okay. Okay. So first of all, I want to commend Patty for choosing songs that go perfectly with what I'm going to talk about. I usually tell her what the theme is, and I didn't have a clue when she asked me. So I can admit that. I said, we're doing something about the badass women of the Bible, okay? Go with that. So yes, we are indeed continuing our series on the badass women of the Bible. And just as a refresher, being a badass is meaning to be authentically yourself, your true self, your highest and best self, to be boldly that radiant light that you are. So today, we're going to look at Deborah. Anybody familiar with Deborah from the Hebrew Testament? I know some of you probably are. But she was the only woman in the Bible to hold the highest political position by consent of the people. Some 13 centuries before Jesus, Deborah held authority over the people of Israel. You can also think of her as that time's Joan of Arc because she also led an army. Joan of Arc, of course, 27 centuries later after Deborah, rode in front of the French army and led them to victory. Deborah led the Israelites to victory, mainly with her faith in God, I will say. She was married, and we're told that she was a keeper of the tabernacle lamps. Now, I'm not really sure what that involved, but I would imagine making sure there's oil in the lamps, trimming the wicks. I also think it must have been a position of honor to keep the light on with the tabernacle. So, in essence, she was a keeper of the flame. And along her spiritual journey, she became a keeper of the flame for the people of Israel as well. Let's set the scene, though. The Israelites were being oppressed by the Canaanites and had been for a few decades. Vineyards were destroyed, women were dishonored, children were even slain. It was a hard time. Many Israelites turned to the gods of the Canaanites in order to kind of fit in a little bit more so they wouldn't be persecuted. Now, Deborah's story is found in the book of Judges, but Judges, that term, is a little misleading because we may think of something like Judge Judy. Nuh-uh. No. Judges then were more like chieftains, okay? And before Deborah became a judge, she was a valued counselor to the people. She would sit under a palm tree, listen to the problems of the people as they came in up to her, and give them spiritual advice. While she was sitting there listening to them, she learned of the fear the people, the Israelis, had against the Canaanite oppression. The thought of the Canaanite 900 chariots of iron struck terror in their hearts. And she felt a call after listening to all these stories, kind of a guidance, if you will, to rise up against this fear, against the complacency that was spread over the land. And she knew in her heart that God would help protect the people. Now, at this time, the men of Israel had somewhat faltered in leadership. So Deborah stepped up to affirm delivery from the oppressors, to call the people together. She summoned a military general by the name of Barak. Isn't that a great name? And together they worked out a plan of action. Deborah let Barak know that she was not afraid of a Canaanite army or of their chariots. Even though Israel had no chariots at that time, her faith was in fact contagious and made Barak realize that God is mightier than appearances. So Deborah told Barak to go and take 10,000 men with him, convincing him that God would be with them. But Barak, perhaps sensing her great faith and spiritual insight, wanted her there too, and told her, "Only if you come with me am I going." And Deborah said, of course, without hesitation. So they set off. And here's what is so kind of miraculous about this story. A storm came up behind them, and hail and sleet came down on the army that opposed them, blinding their archers, freezing the swordsmen, so they were inactive, or maybe not freezing, but crippling them. And the Israelites were not affected because it was behind them. Okay? So believing, in fact, the Israelites believed it to be a sign from God, providential aid. The rain became so heavy that those 900 chariots of iron exactly got stuck in the mud. They were ineffective throughout the battle. So the victory was Israel's. Yet Deborah, even though I'm sure the entire army was yelling her name, "Yay, Deborah," she took no credit for this herself, gave all the credit to God. In one of the earliest martial songs recorded in history, found in Judges, the praise goes to the Lord. And the refrain goes, "Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, utter a song." It ends with, "Let them that love God be as the sun when he goes forth in his might." And the story ends with, "The land had peace for 40 years." So what do we like to do in unity in looking at scriptures? Metaphysical. Yes, the whole room was supposed to say that. Say it with me, metaphysical. Okay. Okay. Yes, we like to look at a metaphysical interpretation in which each person, each place really, is symbolic of a state of consciousness within each of us. So this incredible story, let's start breaking it down so that we might see how we can learn from it, how we can face our own enemies, whether they're the thoughts that we can't seem to get rid of or something that's oppressing us from the outside. The name Deborah in the Hebrew means bee. Now think of a bee, they're active, right? And they're taking care of the hive with everything they do. Just as Deborah was active in faith and in action, taking care of the people of Israel. Deborah metaphysically symbolizes discernment based on spiritual understanding. That inner tuition, along with the understanding of spiritual principle. Principle is, we all know spiritual principle. We may not know it by that term. God is present everywhere. That's one principle. The law of attraction, that is another principle. The law of mind action. God is within each of us throughout all creation, another principle. So intuition aligned with this understanding of God. Barak in the Hebrew means a flash of lightning, or it could mean a flaming sword as well. Can you just kind of picture the fieriness of this man? Metaphysically, the name is significant of the executive ability, that part of us that says go, do, and that which we want to give our energy to. Now, in an untrained state, this state of consciousness, this part that says go and do, may lead to all sorts of mishaps, right? when we jump into action before praying about something, before listening to that wisdom within. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary tells us when we meet with apparent failure, it is not owing to the fact that the task is too great, but because we do not go at the work in the right way. When Barak was assigned the task of gaining a victory, he refused to go unless Deborah accompanied him. Herein is hinted the first secret of success. The method used or the manner in which we approach a situation largely determines our success or failure. Now, have you found this to be true in your life? Yeah. When we approach a circumstance, say we have an irritating neighbor or maybe a family member, but if we approach it with the spiritual understanding that God is expressing through each and every one of us, that we are in fact one, how different is our response than a reaction in which we just go to try to fix whatever problem that they're creating at that time? You know, I recently took a week off. You probably know that. But I went to what I can only describe as a beautiful old-time kind of church camp. I mean, that's what it was. We had prayer and meditation and singing and presentations and a whole lot of other things. A lot of beautiful people I met. It was located in New Hampshire along the shores of Lake Winnipesaukee. And I felt very welcomed when I came there. It was such a loving environment. And then as I got to talking to people, I found out that everyone who was there had been coming for decades. I was the only first-timer there, and it started getting into my head a little bit, I will tell you, because these people knew each other so well, and obviously they wanted to talk to each other, you know, and not that I was left out, but that's where I was going with that in my head. I knew, though, a part of me knew that if I kept that up, I would have a miserable time at this camp. So using the tools of prayer, of affirmation, of denial, of meditation, and aligning once more with spiritual principle, knowing that I'm home wherever I am, I came once more to that understanding that we are truly connected in that spirit of love. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary tells us when the inner intuitive judgment and the directive power in understanding are rightly joined, victory over the enemies of the children of Israel follows. The children of Israel represent the real, enduring spiritual thoughts, and the enemies are the material, transitory thoughts. So our Deborah, our intuitive wisdom, joins with our Barak, the executive power of will, or that which is within us that determines a course of action and follows through. And then we have victory over the thoughts that bring us down, that tell us that we're not enough, that tell us that we're limited, that tell us that we are whatever, you fill in the blank. Bringing our intuitive discernment aligned with spiritual principle. We were created in the image and likeness of God, and then following the action in which that wisdom may lead us to ensures our overcoming those life-denying thoughts. So the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, which was written largely by Charles Fillmore, and he had some help because people would help him by looking at the lessons that he gave and entered them into that dictionary, also tells us Barak, the executiveness, which I'm pretty sure that's not a word, the executiveness of the will, the general of the armies of Israel should not go into action without good judgment, Deborah. The only way to overcome the opposition of the adverse thought realm is to understand the law and to keep constantly unified with judgment. So we all have that within us that is urging us to fix something, to do something, to move into action. And again, the question really is Are we listening to that inner Deborah first before we jump in? Or are we just going down rabbit holes with a lot of energy? It's through understanding spiritual principles, or the law, which is another term for it, spiritual law, and checking in with our intuition, our inner wisdom, that we're able to overcome the armies of those destructive thoughts. Spiritual principle is unchanging truth. It's knowing that we are an expression of God, that we are one with the one with all creation. One of the things I love about Unity is that Charles Filmer, the co-founder of Unity, studied the world traditions, and he saw this wisdom throughout all of it. Perennial wisdom, some call it. And I wanted to share with you a few quotes from different faith traditions just to show you this itself. So the first one I used a couple weeks ago, but it's such a good one. From the Islamic tradition, you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are a reflection of the entire universe held in the embrace of clay. God is not in some faraway heaven. God is with you in this very moment, no matter who you are or what you have done. Everything that has life is a reflection of God life. Everything that has an existence is a reflection of oneness. And then from the great Sioux Nation, peace comes within the souls of men when they realize their oneness with the universe, when they realize it is really everywhere. It is within each one of us. And then from the Celtic Christian tradition, everything that is in God. There is nothing outside God. There is no distance or barrier between us and God. When there are barriers creating distance between us, they are our barriers, not God's. God is like a light within the heart that nothing can extinguish. Now, I am not talking about God in the sky, puppet master God, okay? I'm talking about all the love that is, all the wisdom that is, all the power that is, all the intelligence, all the peace. So when we judge rightly or right-mindedly or righteously, in other words, when we see with a higher perspective, not the appearances, not the chariots of iron that are against us, but knowing that God is present always, as near as your breath, as close as your heartbeat. But you may be thinking, well, what about those times when it feels overwhelming, the problems of the world, the division in this country, when we just don't know what to do? We still hold the high watch. We hold that light. One last quote from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. In mixed states of consciousness, where to appearances error is stronger, it is following the intuitive leadings of spirit that the way to the light is opened. When we are confronted with a problem, the very first thing to be done is to consult our inner guidance. So what we can do in order to help facilitate this is really know and understand and affirm that our intuition is leading us. Our intuition is aligned with that spiritual understanding. Our intuition is aligned with infinite wisdom. But we also have to know that it accompanies us wherever we go. It's not a one and done kind of thing. You know, if we're facing a problem, we may be guided to just pray about it, or we may be guided to take action. But as we continue on, the problem ultimately changes. Maybe not ultimately, but often changes. So we have to stay in contact with our intuition to know the next step as well. And have faith that God is present even in this situation. God is greater than what we are facing. The spiritual reality, the absolute reality, is more than the relative. Emily Cady tells us that faith is, as it were, a ray of light shot out from the central sun, God, one end of which comes into your being and mine through the open door of intuition. So, my friends, when we follow our intuition, we deepen our faith as well. And then one last quote. Intuition is really sudden immersion of the soul into the universal current of life, where the histories of all people are connected, and we are able to know everything because it's all written there. So before we go into a time of meditation, I invite you to join me in this affirmation. Together, intuition is the wisdom of my heart, revealing the wisdom of God to me. So when we are seeking guidance from within, and I'll close with this, how do we know it's from God or not? Right? How do we know that? For me, I believe a sense of peace comes over us. Whatever guidance we receive is always for the highest and best for everyone. There is a calmness that comes with it too, and a knowing that this is the right thing for me to do. This is the next step. It's that inner knowing. There is peace and calm around it, even though we might be facing a complicated situation. We know what to say, we know what to do, and also we know what not to do and what not to say. The wisdom of our hearts reveal this guidance. So let's go ahead and move into a time of meditation. And this will be a guided meditation followed by a period of silence, and we will end with a song with Brent and Patty. So as we get comfortable and as we slowly begin to calm our breath, paying attention to our breath, the inhale and the exhale, noticing the thoughts are calming down. Letting go of anything that may be distracting us. Not forcing it, but just letting it go. Listening to that inner voice. It may come as an intuitive flash, but knowing that we can trust our intuition, knowing that infinite mind is our mind, and that there is an inexhaustible rush of inspiration that flows through our conscious awareness. The consciousness is the inlet for cosmic imagination and the outlet for inspired manifestations. Intuition is the wisdom of my heart, revealing the wisdom of God to me. As we continue to focus on our heart space, opening to that activity of spirit within, I invite you to silently affirm, intuition is the wisdom of my heart, revealing the wisdom of God to me, and trusting that we are guided each step of the way. In the silence. In the silence. intuition is the wisdom of my heart revealing the wisdom of God to me. Let us give thanks for this wisdom that is being revealed, constantly available as we remove the barriers to it. And as we continue to sit restfully, letting the music from Brent and Patty to wash over us, or joining in as you see fit.
All I need is to breathe love in. All I need is to breathe love in. All I need is to breathe love in. And I know that something beautiful is waiting to begin. All I need is to breathe love in. All I need is to breathe love in. All I need is to breathe love in. And I know that something beautiful is waiting to begin. All I need is to breathe love in. Breathe love in. Breathe love in. Breathe.
Amen. Yes. I invite you to affirm with me our offertory prayer. We affirm infinite abundance and prosperity continuously flowing into and within this ministry through spirit and expressing through infinite channels. And we affirm the wisdom, understanding, and discernment in all matters as Spirit guides us along our path. Amen. Yes. And during the offering, we'll have another song by Brent and Patty. Thank you, Karen.
A mighty river is flowing, bringing life to the land. Abundance flows as I fully extend from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. Give me a minute. You got it. I share from the bounty because I understand the blessings flow when I simply let it roll from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. Through me. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. Through me, Spirit move through me, from head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands. From head to heart to hands.
Yes, yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we do have a few announcements, and these are not just for everybody here, but everybody watching us too. These are for you, if you're local. So we have the community book drive, collecting books for children, new or gently used. There is a box underneath the coat rack in the foyer. It's going on all August. And then today, the Interfaith No Book Book Club is happening here, downstairs in the conference room at 2 p.m. Now, you may be wondering what a No Book Book Club is. It means that we didn't have to read a book for this book club. We bring a book that has inspired us or in some way and share that. And the first time we met, I got so many great book suggestions that I really loved it. So I agreed to have Unity host it because I wanted more people involved with it in this group if you're able to. This Wednesday, we begin our midweek service at 7 p.m. It is based on the prayer for protection. We'll do one line each week. This is a service full of music, readings, even a little discussion afterwards. I think it's going to be beautiful. I've been working on it, and I'm really excited to present this to you, really and truly. I hope you can make it. And then on the 26th of August, drum roll. There we go. Yes. End of summer bash. Yay. Yeah. So this is a way of getting together. It's a fully vegetarian meal provided, games. There'll be cornhole. It's like, what was that called again? This thing. And also music by Brett and Patty. There's also yeah. So we need to know who's coming because this is a $20 registration fee, and that gives you all of that and a bag of chips. So you want to make it to this. It's a deal. It really is. And I heard that there's going to be roasted corn at this thing. I know. Doesn't that sound so good? Yes, that's where. Okay, so the price just went up. No. Okay, just kidding. It's $20. We'll just make the check payable to Unity or go on Venmo or PayPal and make sure you mark it for the end of summer bash. And now we want to say goodbye to our beloved Facebook and YouTube friends. We love you. We certainly appreciate you. We'd love to meet you in person one day. If until then we feel definitely connected to you. We know that we are one spirit. Goodbye, my friends. And I just realized I have no one to turn the camera off. Arnie, would you do that? So we'll just do a little song and dance till that happens. Or not. You probably don't want that. Yeah. So, okay.